We gain one slight insight into this from another phase of our problem, namely the idea that these rituals were attended by some form of profound emotional exhilaration, that some strange ecstasy possessed those who participated in these rites. And we may therefore suspect that somewhere concealed in this ritualism was something which perhaps resembled that process of the dervishes, or these other people to whom religious insight led finally to an ecstasy, or some strange sense of mystical union with the gods. If we come into this phase of the problem, we begin to see how we might have a much larger and more solid foundation for secrecy.
It's interesting to note, folks, that the ecstasy, which is produced by excitatory methods and is followed by manipulation of the mind, is still sought by members of many secret cults who are aware of the scientific explanation. You see, irregardless, even when they know this, they still seek it out, because for them it fulfills some terrible need way down deep inside their gut. Their reaction is that the experience may well be induced by physical methods, but in spite of that, and this is what they say, quote, "It is nothing less than actual spiritual communion with a supernatural power," unquote.
In any event, let us say there are many ways in which a trance, a hypnotic state, a mesmeric state could be induced. Supposing from the rituals and mysteries of Pythagoras, the Greeks had learned how to control human consciousness by music alone. This is quite possible. We are beginning to sense the possibility of it. But supposing by the knowledge of music they were actually able to create trances, that they were actually able to variously affect the internal consciousness of the human being. Or, let us say for a moment, another Pythagorean experiment later revived and worked on, color therapy. The idea that by color and by the use of lights, reflectors, and similar things, the consciousness of the individual could be reached therapeutically and psychically. Also, let us remember that primitive people from all over the world have united in discovering the tremendous psychic power of rhythm. How through their simple jungle drums and things of that nature, these primitive peoples have been able to throw themselves into an ecstasy which carried them out of this world into a strange trance-like existence. The dervishes also used the dance for this purpose, attempting to unite their own motion to cosmic motion. Supposing our Greeks also knew the power of sound, knew the mysterious vibratory rates of sound, and combining all these and perhaps other things that we do not know and have never been able to restore, we're able to involve this psychological machinery into the rituals of initiation. We can very easily sense how it would not be very hard to move a person already receptive, already expectant, already waiting breathlessly for the very presence of the gods, to be moved from a state of being a spectator to a drama, rather to the condition of being a participant in a mystery. These things have happened in private case many, many times, and we have no reason to doubt that under the skillful knowledge of highly informed persons, almost any mood or state that was desired could be conjured into existence. The modal music of the Greeks is a good example of this, and the laws and restrictions in which these modes were administered. because it was definitely affirmed by the Greeks that by modal music, any condition of the soul desired could be stimulated or the soul could be blocked in this mood.
The effect of certain experiences was a carefully worked program of mind training, which is familiar in modern times as that which is employed by certain totalitarian states to condition or reshape the thinking of an individual. Are you listening to me, all you Freemasons out there who think that you're so smart? Well, you're not. This process produces a state in which the mind is pliant enough to have certain ideas implanted, ideas which resist a great deal of counter-influence. This was the secret of the mysteries, this and nothing else. Echoes of such training are to be seen in the rituals of certain secret societies without mystical pretensions which survive to this day. Trials, terror, expectancy, drinking, and the rest. That this fact was known in the past, folks, is evidenced by the words of Aristotle, who was exiled because he was said to have revealed something about the mysteries, and he said this, quote, "Those who are being initiated do not so much learn anything as experience certain emotions and are thrown into a special state of mind," unquote. Well, what was this special state of mind? Folks, it was a plasticity in order that the conditioning might take permanent root. The psychologist William Sargent, the greatest authority on this subject, says in his classic Battle for the Mind, quote, "It seems, therefore, that there are common final paths which all individual animals, though initial temperamental responses to imposed stresses vary greatly, must finally take. If only stresses are continued long enough, this is probably the same in human beings, and if so, may help to explain why excitatory drumming, dancing, and continued bodily movement are so much used in such a number of primitive religious groups. The efforts and excitement of keeping the dance in progress for many hours on end should wear down, and if need be, finally subdue even the strongest and most stubborn temperament, such as might be able to survive frightening and exciting talk alone for days or weeks," unquote. Now, understanding what I just read to you, this quote from Battle for the Mind by William Sargent, can you still say that music plays no part in the conditioning of the mind? That the words in the music is not being entrapped by the subconscious of those young people who dance for hours listening to this music? If so, I think you'd better rethink that position, for it is a form of mind control, brainwashing.
Is everybody in? Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The ceremony is about to begin.
Soul brother.
Here we have 4 parallel examples. We have the definite story of the Epidaurian and Asclepius. We have the record of the Prophonian oracle, the record of the Delphian oracle, and the record of the early use of drugs in the Christian communion. Here we have various methods used to create some type of extrasensory experience.